I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I'll make mistakes, but mistakes make you strong.
Hi there! Who wouldn't like to get paid no matter what? Well, almost. Remember COVID? Many of us invest in growth stocks, and we expect a return of at least 7 to 10% compound annual growth. The S&P 500 had an annual return of around 7.72% or 10.70% with dividends reinvested. And that's nice and all, but we never know what the markets are going to do and if we get our expected return.
Life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
When we are in retirement, the security of a steady stream of money is crucial. And just a few years without growth can destroy a portfolio. Enter dividend stocks. Dividend stocks have produced an average annual return of around 9.18% over the last 50 years. So, almost the same as the S&P 500, but with a lot lower risk and a steady payout.
All right, so no matter what, I'm gonna get some money.
History shows us that dividends are a safer choice than growth stocks. When the corrections or the crashes occur and stocks take a 30 to 50% tumble, dividends are usually not hurt, or at least won't get hurt as much and for as long. I made a video on a great dividend portfolio I'm building, and currently I have reached around 10% of my goal for the portfolio. The final goal for that dividend portfolio is to give me the same payout every year as I have today, working. When I retire, I will have zero debt, so I really don't need to be that high, but that's the ambition. I use a few of the companies I have in the portfolio to illustrate my point, and why I'm slowly shifting from growth to dividends. Let's look at an example. I bought a bank stock during COVID where everything was on sale. And if that wasn't enough, they were also hit hard by regulators. They were fined for a money laundering case in one of their branches. At that time, it was a fantastic opportunity. I have bought more over time, and today I have an average cost of around $13. The stock today trades around $27. The stock is DNSKF, Danske Bank. When I bought the stock, the bank was financially stable but had that court case hanging over their head. Although most investors didn't realize that they already set a boatload of money aside to pay the eventual fine. I knew they were going to get back to their former glory, as they were still making money, a lot of money. They were just in a bit of bad standing at the time. 1 year later, in 2021, the stock price was around $16. At that point, the dividend yield was around 6%. 6% is not fantastic, but now we come to the important part. 6% of $16 was almost $1, and this was back in 2021. But today, the stock price has reached $27, giving us, or the investor that invests now, a dividend yield of 7.10%. That's pretty good. So, new investors will get $2.13 per share they own. But wait, there's more. Because I started to buy back in 2020, my average cost today is $13 per share. And as I get the same $2.13 per share in dividends, that gives me $2.13 divided by my cost, which is $13, times 100 to get the percentage. I get a dividend yield of 16.38%. So I'm getting a dividend yield over 16% from the company just because I bought the stock when the price was low and it has appreciated since I bought it. The point is, if the company you invest in does well, the stock usually follows, thus boosting your dividend payout a lot more, as a dividend is a fixed amount per share. The yield is calculated from that amount divided by the current share price. Another great example is Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway. The Oracle of Omaha certainly likes his dividend companies. Berkshire should collect around $6 billion in dividends this year. Yes, $6 billion. That's crazy. And what's even more crazy is that only 5 stocks will account for the majority of these payouts. A whopping $4.36 billion in dividends from just 5 companies. Whoa! Let's look at them and see why Berkshire invested in them. Bank of America. This year they will get $991.5 million in dividends. Wow, let that sink in. $991 million in dividends every year? Berkshire's current principal is around $38 billion, and it's the second largest holding. That's almost 1 billion shares they own. Occidental Petroleum will give around $897 million in annual dividend income. It's the second biggest dividend payer in Berkshire's portfolio. Occidental is an energy stock which doesn't have a particularly high yield, but still gives more than $897 million in annual income. Berkshire owned around 248 million shares, and they bought them in the start of 2022. Apple, well, everybody knows Apple. Berkshire gets around $869 million in annual dividend income from Apple, and it's not a surprise since it's Berkshire Hathaway's largest position by market value. Chevron. Chevron is around $822 million in annual dividend income for Berkshire, and Chevron has been paying dividends in 37 consecutive years. Coca-Cola. Yeah, the good old Coke. $776 million in annual dividends. It's the 5th dividend stock that, along with the others, gives Berkshire $4.36 billion in annual dividend income. Coca-Cola has been a holding in Berkshire since 1988, so they have a very low cost basis.
Boring!
This is really proving the point. Over time, the low cost basis gives you an incredible dividend yield, so picking the right company is much more important than the initial dividend yield. Even if Coca-Cola only pays 3.41% in dividend yield, that could very well become a whole lot more over time. Let's say Coca-Cola shares increase around 7.66%, as they have in the past 10 years. And with an expected share price of 130 in 10 years, you would get almost 8.67% dividend yield, as the cost basis would be around the $60 it is today.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
So just by buying Coke and holding it for 10 years, the dividend would be very, very nice. Now, add 30 years, think what that could become. And that's why Berkshire and others really like the dividend companies which pay forever dividends. And if they also buy back shares and the stock increase in price, we are smooth sailing.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Hey, I bet somebody thinks, hey, what about bonds? Well, yes, government-backed bonds could also be a good idea for retirement. But even when they offer their high degree of stability, they don't have the appreciation and rising payouts over time. So even if the bond rates on a graph look similar, they can't compete over time. A company paying and increasing dividends and appreciating will win. Just to give you a small preview of the status on my dividend portfolio, here's a small update. As I mentioned, I'm only around 10% of my goal, but I can actually see the finish line now. If I sold some of my growth stocks today, which I won't, and invested in the companies I already have in the dividend portfolio, I would reach the goal this year, and I could retire with style. I am currently getting 11.56% returns from that portfolio. Yes, you heard right. I am currently getting almost 12% in dividends every year. And when the dividends get raised, which most of the holdings do, or the stock price appreciates, this will go up. So now I just need to scale it up.
My goodness, what an idea. Why didn't I think of that?
I will make an update video on that portfolio, so remember to subscribe. And please like the video if you did. Remember, the best investment you can do is in you. The more you learn, the more you earn. Bye.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in the ninth inning. There ain't no point in resisting. Living